What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I hope you like this video. This is your review for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip episode 7, season 1, episode 7. So let's go on and get into this. So it's the last day, and it wasn't really eventful. A couple of little things happened, so we're gonna get into it. So first of all, Kyle heads back to the villa with her walk of shame. She spent the night with her husband the night before, honey. So she came back with his robe on and her carrying her shoes, walking barefoot. That old walk of shame. Look, we have all walked the walk of shame. It is what it is, okay? It is Cynthia's lunch. She's having lunch down on the beach, and she is doing a Bailey Bowl. We remember that from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so she's got a group of activities for the ladies, and she said that things between her and Kenya are just not in a good place. They're just not in a good place. And Kenya shows up and immediately starts complaining, child, because Cynthia specifically asked for cold foods. She said, we're going to be down by the beach. I don't want to have to worry about food being warm and if it got cold, so we're going to have salads and, things that we don't have to worry about it keeping warm. So the first thing Kenya asked is this all we eating? Well, I want a burger. And she asked, the kitchen staff if they can bring her a veggie burger, child. It's not a big deal, but when you already irritated, it's like, for real though. So then they do the Bailey Bowl. Luann immediately is taking everything very seriously. Luann and Kenya are not playing, okay? They are taking this all very seriously, honey. And it's very reminiscent of Candy. Candy don't be playing because the grand prize for the winner was a 3-day, 4-night stay at a private villa on the Turks and Caicos. Probably one of Mauricio's properties again, okay? And Kyle was like, I don't understand why these ladies are playing so hard. I mean, all of them can afford it. And again, it's not about whether they can afford it or not. It's about winning. Luann wanted to win. Kenya wanted to win. It really wasn't about, they could care less about the prize. They just wanted to win. So who just had that competition in them? Clearly Kyle does not. So the first game was a twerk contest, which was interesting that Ramona almost won it. The second one was spilling the tea, where she hid bottles of water. Well, they were like teacups, whatever. They had water in them in the sand, and they had to find them, and whoever found the most won a point. And then the third round was the two winner. They had to have a tug of war, like a tug off, I guess we call it a tug off. No, the first game was they had diamond rings and blocks of ice, and they had to get to the ice without biting the ice. And that's when Luann was like, she bit the ice. It's not fair. They cheated. And let's be clear, they did cheat, okay? Teresa won, but Teresa tried to say that she didn't bite the ice, and they clearly, Bravo, they showed us the footage of Teresa biting the ice. But I think when you're doing something like that, sometimes you do it and don't realize it's what you did. Like, I don't think she realized she was doing it, because she was adamant that she didn't bite the ice, but not adamant in a he kind of way, but adamant in a no, I really didn't do it. And I think she really thinks she didn't do it. And moving on. So then we have so they had the tug of war, and so Kenya ended up winning because Kenya was flinging them little skinny minis all over the daggone sand, honey. And so Kenya won the prize, and they had a crown and everything in a sash, and it was real cute. She gave her little acceptance. But then she ended up giving her prize away to Teresa. She said, I know you are in a really great place. You are in love, honey, and this will be a perfect gift for y'all. And so she gives it to Teresa for her and Louis. And of course, Teresa got emotional. She about cried, and it was really, really sweet, And Kenya said in her confessional, she said, listen, I'm just not in that space right now. Like, I don't have nobody I'm trying to take with me. That's a romantic type getaway, and I'm not in a romantic getaway kind of mood. And, it just is what it is, So after it was over, most of the ladies went inside to go wash off. They had sand all over them. They were hot and sweaty. But Ramona, Kyle, Teresa, they sort of stayed back, and they were talking to Ramona a little bit. And they were sort of... we got a different side of Ramona. Ramona talked about her childhood and how she grew up in an abusive home, and how, she said when she was a kid, she just, she hid in her books, that, she routinely would wake up to her mom with blood and violence, and, her dad was abusive. And she didn't go into all of the details, but she said she was the oldest. And so a lot was sort of put on her shoulders. And she said, I live my life the way I live my life because I never wanted to be dependent on a man. Because I would ask my mother, why won't you leave? Why won't you leave? And her answer was, where am I going to go? I don't have anything. I don't have any money. I don't have anything to fall back on. She said, there weren't shelters back then. There weren't, places where battered women could go. The laws weren't in their favor. Like it was hard for a woman to leave an abusive relationship, and she said, I just never wanted to be that person. And so then they got to talking about her apologizing to Kenya. Here's the thing right here, y'all. I don't ever want somebody to tell somebody they owe me an apology. If you feel like you owe me an apology, then you will do it. I don't need anybody to tell you that you did something to me. Ramona has been saying this whole show, even when she apologized, well, I don't know what I'm apologizing for, but I'm going to apologize. Well, I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm going to apologize. And I feel like that is a way of her trying to hold on to, I didn't do anything, when you did, and you did. And so they're sitting there coaching her on what she should and shouldn't say to Kenya. And again, girl, if you don't think you did nothing to me, I don't know what to tell you. I can't make you see that you did something to me. You know what I mean? Anyway, so then the ladies are packing, getting ready to go. And Teresa's talking to Louis, telling him about the trip and how, nice Kenya was, and how, she's like, I made a friend for life. Like, I'm going to always have her back. Like, that was just so sweet of her to do that for us. And Cynthia decides to go talk to Kenya. She does this long confessional about how Kenya did her wrong and how she felt like Kenya stabbed her in the back, and how, going into that, Kenya was the one person who she felt like, that was her friend, that was there for her. And that's, she felt like Kenya really did her wrong. And, she said, I don't want to leave here feeling like that. Like, I don't want to leave feeling like Kenya, me and Kenya are not in a good place. And she talked about, like, she got into all the details about what happened. And like I said, I told you what my opinion was 3 reviews ago. Cynthia can't get out of that funk. She just can't get out of that funk of feeling like Kenya didn't have her back. Kenya didn't support her. Kenya wasn't her real, quote unquote, her friend. She just can't get herself out of that funk. She just can't do it. And at this point, I don't even know. At this point, I don't even know whether she's right or wrong anymore. I feel like Kenya is being Kenya. Like, Cynthia act like this the first time Kenya has dogged her out or shaded her publicly or treated her like shit in front of other people. Like, we've seen it happen on the Real Housewives of Atlanta repeatedly. And at a certain point, when a person shows you who you are, who they are, believing the first time, this is who Kenya is. And either you're going to be friends with her and you're going to accept the bullshit that comes with Kenya, or you're not. And maybe Cynthia is finally at a point where she's like, I can't accept this anymore. Like, I'm no longer going to accept this anymore. I can't do it. Like, I don't know. Maybe, because everybody gets to that point where they get to that point where they're done. And maybe that's where she finally is. She's just done. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me put a pin in that. The other thing they talked about with Ramona was they did talk about what happened the night before at the dinner, and she did feel hurt by what happened with Kenya. She said she did feel hurt by that. So then that's how they evolved into that whole conversation. So Cynthia goes upstairs to talk to Kenya. And Kenya is like, hey girl, hey, how you doing? Yada, 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 bada, bada, bada. And Cynthia wants to have this conversation. And Kenya shuts it down. Kenya shuts it down. She said, I think Kenya shut it down for 2 reasons. The first reason why she shut it down is because she already know where this is going. And I think Kenya's thing is, I have apologized. I have said what I'm going to say. There's nothing left for me to say. And she saw them cameras, and so she knew this was the whole moment. This was the whole scene. This was the whole situation. And I guess Kenya was like, I'm not doing this. And she told her, she said, Cynthia, I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this. And she was like, so you mean to tell me that, so, I really want to talk about, I want to clear the air before we leave. And Cynthia was like, Kenya was like, I can't do this right now. I don't have time for this right now. I'm not in the space for this right now. Like, I want to leave on a good note. I've had a really good time. I just want to leave here on a good note. And that's when I think Cynthia was, I keep saying Cynthia. Yeah, Cynthia was like, and I'm done. Like, the fact that I'm coming to you as a friend and you're telling me that you don't even have time to have a conversation with me tells me all I need to know at this point. Like, that tells me all I need to know. That you don't have the time to give me to validate our friendship. And here's the thing about being a friend. You don't always want to hear what your friend has to say because maybe either you tired of hearing it, you feel like you ain't do anything wrong, you feel like the friend is being melodramatic. Like, there are a lot of reasons why sometimes you just get exhausted with hearing what your friend has to say. But if that's your friend and you really care about them and you really respect them, I feel like there's a place where you need to listen and you need to hear them. Anyway, and I think we've all been on both sides of that coin. I think we've been on the side of the coin where there are things we want to say, and I think we've been on the side of the coin where we don't want to hear what somebody has to say. But if that's your friend, like, Kenya, I get it. You want to leave on a good note. But you also, you know your friend. You know Cynthia better than anybody else that's there. And everybody noticed that Cynthia's been in the funk. And if she's finally ready to talk, I feel like if you're really her friend and you're really there for her as a friend, I feel like you should be there for her to talk. That's just my opinion. So the ladies are having their final dinner. I feel like the dress code was supposed to be yellow. I don't know. But most of the people had on yellow, but other people kind of had their own thing going on. And they went around the table and, they did the whole, are you grateful to be here? Why are you here? Are you happy to be here? All that kind of thing. And the one thing Teresa said that I thought was very interesting was she said, this is the first time that I've actually enjoyed filming a show. And she said, I've never enjoyed filming my show. And I've only watched one season of New Jersey, so I honestly can't say all of the seasons, but I know some of Teresa's story. And Melissa sort of said, yeah, she said, because every season has been something with you. Like, every season has been a problem, and I can see how you feel that way. But a part of me is like, then why keep filming? Like, was the money that good? Did you enjoy the attention? If you really were that miserable filming, walk away. But I guess that's easier said than done. You're making good money to do a whole lot of nothing. I guess it's easier said than done, child. Easier said than done. So Ramona pulled Kenya away to talk to her. I don't know if anything got resolved. She pulled her away to apologize, but even in her apology, she was trying to turn herself into the victim. And Kenya was like, you don't get to be the victim. Like, she tried to say she didn't apologize sooner because she was scared of Kenya. You don't get to be the victim. She said, you weren't afraid enough of me to call me a bitch. Like, you weren't that afraid of me because you sure ain't have no problem calling me a bitch. Like, come on, stop it. Like, you can't have it both ways. And she's right. You can't say you scared of somebody, but you can call them all kinds of names and you can say the things you said. You weren't that scared of her. Okay? So they came to some sort of amends. They came to some sort of amends and came back to the table. And what did Cynthia say? I find it very interesting that she had time to listen to what Ramona had to say, and she could take the time out to have a conversation with Ramona, but she wouldn't extend that to her friend. And that's a valid point. That's a very valid point. Now, in real time, we know that Cynthia has left the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we know that the two of them, Cynthia and Kenya, are not in a very good place. So, yeah, I don't know. And then after that, Countess Luann came out and sang her song, Money Can't Buy You Class, and she had the money gun. And it was a cute moment. They had fireworks, and it was a great way to end the trip. I do feel like The All-Star Ultimate Girls Trip format is a great one. We know that they've already filmed season 2, and rumors are they're casting for season 3. We heard some rumors about some drama going down on season 2, honey, so I'm sure we will be here for that. But anyway, that's it. That's all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.